When did these coaches who live in paranoia stop doing the human element when it's the best for their team? Like, I was looking around studio with Joey and EJ. I'm like, is he serious? Is wired as Kirby is, how do you not see that that's the right thing to do?
Yeah, and I think to further the argument, you're still not guaranteed of anything with the first down. You're not over the goal line. So I think it was an unnecessary risk, and he is not one that normally would go that route. The biggest argument against what he did is where he was. Georgia last year against Tennessee. Remember that second half comeback that saved their season. That's what they're built around, and you never stop and think, well, what if we don't make it? We just gave up the opportunity because I agree. I mean, I'm not because of the weirdness of where it was in the game. It doesn't come down to it, but the fact that they never crossed the goalpost again or the goal line, confirms your argument.
Yeah, it just made me grumpy yesterday and this morning. I'm grumpy on Sundays anyway because I get no sleep. But I just don't this thing in college football now where this analytics-driven world, and I've said it, and we've talked about it. We used to get on Dan Lanning about this a couple of years ago. I think it was the Ohio State game where he just had no business going forward on fourth down. And we've said it a number of times. It's going to cost you a game. And it did last night. I don't care what anybody says. If you come at me and say, well, that didn't lose in the game, okay, then I would point to you. Where were the other points in the fourth quarter? When did Alabama pull away? They didn't. The margin of score was the same when they elected not to kick the field goal. It was 3. And so, look, we're going to get to Alabama now, but I don't think if you're Georgia, you wake up today and you're like, that is an inexcusable way to manage that game when you had a whole quarter tied at 24 to try to get back in it. There were a couple times when you're driving, you're not driving tied 24, you're driving down 24-21. You've put extra pressure on yourself because you elected not to get the points. On the other side of this, credit Alabama. Ty Simpson, I thought, was tremendous in the first half. And Paul, what did we say last week when we were previewing this game? And I said it all day in studio yesterday. If Alabama wins this game, gone is the BS from Florida State. The Kalen DeBoer discussion, the kids missing curfew, all the stuff going on at the facility. They needed a month to regroup from that loss. They got the win. And to me, you live in the state, you know much more than I do about the Alabama situation, but I believe you can put all that aside now.
You have to. And Matt, what was so interesting is after ULM and after Wisconsin, everywhere I went, what do you think about Alabama? They look great. And you wanted to say, yes, but now you don't have to say that. I mean, Alabama is a legitimate contender again. They don't have a conference loss. And what was so interesting, Matt, being out Friday night in Athens, how many Georgia fans came up to me as we watched the end of Florida State and go, hey, you think your Alabama team's worth a flip now? And 24 hours later, it had been flipped against that team that they were bragging about and thought. I mean, it almost felt like when Florida State lost that game that Alabama was cooked. Kalen DeBoer is really phenomenal in the sense that, Matt, how many times has this guy come back from the dead? It's just unreal to think that his road record is bad, but he is 2-0 against Kirby Smart, and the bigger number is Kirby Smart's 0-2 against him. Saban doesn't matter anymore. The schedule is still tricky, but I would say overall, Alabama to go into October with one loss, not bad.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you.